I will do the introductions to the CTO of FIWARE Foundation, is one of our strategic partners, FIWARE. So we have the honor to host Juanjo HIERRO, he's from Spain. He's after a thriving trajectory at Telefónica, Spain's R&D labs, including Industrial IoT Unit CTO, Juanjo joined the foundation in 2017. His involvement with FIWARE dates back to 2011, when he was already coordinating activities related to the FIWARE platform. He has been heavily involved in the launch of the OASC initiative, contributing to the definition of technical mechanisms adopted by cities joining the initiative. So Juanjo is currently Chief Technology Officer, CTO, of the FIWARE Foundation. He's also the chairman of the FIWARE Technical Steering Committee and coordinates the FIWARE Tech Roadmap. He also supports the FIWARE Community in developing the vision and value proposition of FIWARE in the several domains where it's being applied. Welcome, Juanjo. I welcome you, and please share with us what you're doing, what is your message, what do you bring, what is the story of FIWARE, and in the next 20 minutes we'll be thrilled and hear you with enthusiasm. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for inviting me to be part of this amazing event. Great speakers, and I hope you will enjoy also this speech, which is going to be about FIWARE and FIWARE for smart destinations. We in the last speech we were talking about how relevant it could be, the technology, to already materialize the kind of goals we are looking for when we are trying to, create smart travel experiences, to develop the concept of a smart destination, and that is what FIWARE is all about, creating this kind of open source technology that may help to create this concept of a smart destinations and develop it further. Smart destination, the goals, I think I would summarize is kind of a double side, and the two sides of the same coin. And in the first place, bringing the best experience to visitors, and while supporting sustainable development. That means creating smart solutions that are capable to capture data and bring in an experience that is unique and accompanying the visitors all the way from that point where they decide to visit a destination, to the point where when they arrive to that destination, and then develop activities, moving through all the places, visiting spaces, and traveling to rural areas and not just cities, and getting involved in smart spaces during that journey, like smart airports, train stations, and so on. But what it means creating smart applications on all these spaces that can help to, bring this notion of the best experience the visitor will leave, that would allow move him to come back, and also what we can do so that actually the impact in those spaces you are visiting, is really compatible with sustainable development. Well, FIWARE in this context is trying to bring that technology that helps develop smart applications. FIWARE was created as an open source initiative that helps development of smart solutions in many different sectors. And of course, destination is one of them. How we achieve that? Well, we leverage on a concept that I hope I will be able to describe, which is about creating a digital twin representation of that real world that represent their space to visit, the destination. And that digital twin representation is something we are going to build up by means of gathering data coming from different sources, from sensors that I might have deployed in the field, but also from information systems for social networks. All kind of sources are those that are capable to build this digital twin representation of the real world. And that digital twin representation is what is going to be constantly analyzed, processed, in order to deliver that smart experience to end users, and supporting then in their smart decisions when visiting the spaces, the destinations, and also automating certain processes. What do we mean exactly with this notion of digital twin? While digital twin is a buzzword nowadays, we are trying with FIWARE in making it something concrete, something that developers of solutions, architects of a smart destination will be able to bring into practice. And a digital twin is a digital representation of an asset, something in the real world, tangible, with properties, relationships within other assets, attributes that may change over time and typically may have a connected location. And context is what is being represented by the collection of digital twins. Context is key concept in any kind of powered by FIWARE solution, and context awareness is what all smart solutions are about in the first place. And this context awareness is fundamental when developing smart destination solutions. When we talk about a digital twin entity, we are, as I said, mapping concepts of the real world. So the restaurant that the people are visiting, with the museum, the visitors are themselves one of these assets, these elements we want to represent, the vases that are helping those visitors to move around, and the events that are happening at that point in time. Information that describe those entities, which are attributes, properties. Some of them will be quite dynamic, like for instance, what is the location, the number of passengers of a bus. Some of them will be pretty static, like the location of a museum, but others are dynamic but not that dynamic. Like it could be the menu in a restaurant or a specific event that is taking place in that destination. We need to compile all that information in right time, in real time, to bring support to development of solutions. And what FIWARE brings concretely and with that perspective, standards in two key elements when creating an architecture based on digital twins. First of all, the API that allows to gain access to digital twin data in a standard way. And secondly, common data models that will help to define the concrete properties, attributes, and so on that the entities you will want to use in your application will be able to support. So let's elaborate on those two elements, these two elements that are where FIWARE has pushed and create a standard that is now at the hand of developers, architects, to be able to support the creation of their smart solutions, which, for instance, can apply to a smart destination. First element, the API. FIWARE has defined the NGSI API. This is a RESTful API that allows applications to both consume data about this digital twin representation, be able to query about properties of all the entities that are describing what's going on in real time, be able to subscribe to get notified whenever a change happens. So therefore, I can define like, tell me where are the buses in this given area at this precise moment, what are the passengers in all these buses at the moment. This is valuable information that the visitor wishes to get access to decide what bus to take in these times of COVID-19 might be quite useful. I may also need to get subscribed about offerings coming from restaurants, and that is why this subscription notification approach makes sense. But also it's an API that allows the different parts of the applications to also bring updates on that context information. That is precisely what we will do by means of connecting to sensors, connecting to different information systems to be able to update this digital twin representation. This API was created within the FIWARE open source community, bringing the feedback from many developers over time, curating the API, and at certain point we end up creating, bringing this API to a standard body called ETSI, and now it is a standard. This is the NGSI LD. LD comes from the support to linked data, that nowadays is a standard API that everyone can use. The second key aspect of standardizations are data models. We need to come up with a common language so that applications can really, speak the same language and be able to be replicated from one city or from one region, territory to another, and be able to interoperate with other applications that exist in that area. In this particular respect, FIWARE is driving the definition of smart data models that can work across different domains. And of course, one of them is being smart destination. We are going to leverage on a specification created by Segitur, which is the tourism digital agency in Spain, a quite reputed organization, and we are going to take this as the basis for creating data models for smart destination. This will be combined with other data models that we are defining for cities already, or related with environment, health, etc., to create the kind of catalog of data models that will be at the service of developers and architects. You may say, okay, that looks fine, but why FIWARE? And is there any other initiative that is doing something similar that competes to compare? Well, the true fact is that these standards that we have been pushing over time has, and that's, I have to say, we are very proud about that, has been finally endorsed by many different relevant organizations. I mentioned ETSI, the world-class standard body, already, who adopted NGSILD as the basis API for getting access to context data in real time. GSMA, the organization bringing together all mobile operators, have defined the recommendations about what it means creating IoT-based solutions that gravitates around the NGSILD API that we define, TM Forum as well, and very important, Connecting Euro Facility program in Europe, which is a program pushed by the European Commission that is about identifying mature open source technology that can be recommended to be adopted by public administration, by governments and other private bodies as basis for creating digital service infrastructures that support services that can be replicated across member states in the European Union. And what is important to share with you is that the FIWARE Context Broker technology, which is the open source technology that supports the NGSILD standard I'm referring to, was adopted as one of these building blocks that the European Commission is recommending to adopt. Well, this digital twin approach is an approach that is helping to architect the smart solutions to be able to develop the architecture, the integration of systems within large organizations like a city could be or a region could be to support the smart city concept or smart territory concept, but going further even for how different sort of smart organizations can, exchange data in a safe manner, trusted manner, to bring support to, quite interesting data value chains and support further the experience in destinations. So I will not be able to go into the details, but and you can. I encourage you to visit some of our webinars you can find on the website. But going quickly through all these three, levels of integration that we are able to support through this digital twin approach. We have in the first place the ability to define architectures, like it could be a smart tourism vertical application that may help visitors to find the museums, the shops, the restaurants that are more suitable for their preferences and so on, where we have a multi-tier architecture where we have layers for capturing the data. This is what you can see in the bottom of the picture, creating this digital twin representation that is then by the application process constantly analyzed, not only taking into account the current values, but also history to create a kind of smart decisions that will help the visitors. Similarly, FIWARE and around this concept of digital twin space representation, we are able to create the notion of what could be the architecture for a smart city, capable to exploit information coming from different verticals, and that integration could be particularly useful for the support of the notion of a smart destination, right? This applies to cities, but territories and so on. And last but not least, if the different smart solutions running in buildings, in ports, in cities, all of them rely on the same kind of a standard and common data models, that is what is going to support and fuel all kind of innovations and really bring this idea of experience that accompany the visitor along his journey to a given destination. Why? Because all these systems running in the different organizations will be able to exchange valuable information that will ultimately give support to this smart experience by the users. Trying to kind of summarize a bit what we have just mentioned, how FIWARE standards is helping to boost the notion of smart destinations. First of all, because it is about creating a standard that provides right-time access to relevant context data using a standard API, using common models, and real-time interaction, real-time data is what will fuel the kind of innovative services that serve the needs of visitors in a space. Those standards would allow also the replicability of solutions across different destinations, and that leads to economies of scale and the right kind of incentives for solution developers to create solutions, because knowing they can develop once a solution and that will be replicable in many destinations. So that is very crucial for us, the ability to make those solutions interoperate with existing solutions that may also assist covering other needs in that destination, the ability to define standard KPIs that will help to, later on benchmark solutions each other and help destinations to share best practices, And why not also thinking into rather disruptive innovation, the ability to monetize data when needed. Well, a few words to mention that FIWARE is not just about these standards that I have elaborated about. There is a quite comprehensive roadmap in place where the whole FIWARE community is bringing means for evolving the technology and covering all the gaps that are you need to cover when creating an overall architecture, solving aspects related with integration with blockchain or support to artificial intelligence or interface with robotics. And well, last but not least, the notion of FIWARE not being just technology is about creating a community, an ecosystem where one of the key elements of that ecosystem grow is what we refer as FIWARE hubs. These are digital innovation hubs, entities that have taken the lead of spreading the word of FIWARE in their local region, because we think in FIWARE about, this vision about thinking globally but acting locally. And this network of FIWARE hubs is growing all over the world nowadays, having 20 FIWARE hubs in different places in the world and growing. So anyone that might be interested into knowing more how they can join this network, just contact us. I invite you in that respect to attend a speech that will take place tomorrow by Gonzalo de la Rosa from Ciudades del Futuro, who is an organization that is running precisely the FIWARE Hub in Argentina and is also leading the working group on smart destinations within FIWARE. So just conclusions to finalize this presentation. FIWARE is technology that is open, that brings response to existing challenges regarding interoperability and replicability of the smart solution in multiple sectors and, of course, destinations. The approach that is bringing, which works cross-domain, is really what we need in smart destinations to be able to accompany and materialize this vision of journey, moving on through different spaces, and an approach that's future-proof with a comprehensive roadmap in place. And don't forget, because that is important, FIWARE, an open source technology that is open, free for all, forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juanjo. A great incomplete presentation of what is the work of FIWARE and how the platform engages with developers and all the technical details. They are important for create new ways to engage cities and bring data in a natural and neutral, also in a transparent way. I have one question, and then we can close your slots. Just we are discussing in a lot of cities, a lot of regions, and some points of the globe that cities don't have to include technology like as a policy, as a priority. But actually, we cannot live anymore in this world without technology, right? It's like everything is technological as a technological, but FIWARE, I think he gets both of the worlds. He engages people from the perspective of the strategy and the architecture, but also with the platform, the technical, where people can put their hands in the work and create things. So how do you see the future? It has to be like a hybrid topic. We have been discussing smart cities for so long. It started with the technology driven, now it's like a human driven policies, but actually it has to be something balanced between both. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and I think the word we love to use is not that much technology. It's talking about an ecosystem. We need to create something that is sustainable. The technology is just a mean, is a way to how to enable this ecosystem, how to bring the right incentives for solution providers to invest. What has been successful in experience like the smartphones and so on is that you have created a market. You have created a market for where developers will invest creating solutions, and then they will compete and bring innovation to be able to differentiate and create those solutions. So we need that notion of platform, and platform that allows replicability of solutions and create a market that attract enough investment. And that is what standards and open source is all about. It's about creating these opportunities for the developers and finally bring the benefit to the consumers, which will be the ones that will enjoy these applications. But it's very important to create this ecosystem that is sustainable. And the technology is just a mean for achieving that sustainability.
Yes, I believe that's a good message to end this second day of Smart Travel 2020. Thank you. It's an honor to have FIWARE as a strategic partner of our event. As you said, tomorrow we will have more speakers under your umbrella. So this is a really good ecosystem also to discuss and debate and create new topics for the future of travel, of the cities and of the world. Thank you, Juanjo, once again, and it's been a pleasure to meet you and have you here.